Okay, hello there, it's Mrs. FB, and I'm going to go over the requirements for your new project, which is a pop-up zine about cells, and it's going to be aimed at middle school science students. So you need to be sort of keeping that in the back of your mind. You want to keep your vocabulary and your information appropriate for middle school science students, okay? All artwork needs to be your own work. You may trace animal or plant, that should say animal or plant cells, but you need to color them all in. There should be no clip art or photos except one photo from Flickr or Pixabay or Pexels for the cover. All of your text needs to be typed, or you could use sticker letters if you want, but there should be no handwriting on this zine. We've just found it to be not as effective. Okay. So each group is going to receive the following supplies: one 5x8 half sheet of white paper for your cover. And that we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. 3 sheets of cardstock for your book's pages, 3 strips of cardstock for back bases, and then you're going to collage those. 3 3x8 strips of cardstock to make your pop-up items, and then each member is going to get colored construction paper or tissue paper to do their background collage. And each group at the end will get a hardback cover and choose spine wallpaper. You'll get that on the last day for binding up your thing. And then you'll glue your photo cover page to it at the very end. So you want to think about having a consistent design through your entire book. Remember back to when you made the zines and we talked about design and keeping it consistent. You want to think about that, but this time, since there'll be 2 or 3 people in your group, you want to think about everyone talking about that together so that your pages fit with the other person's pages, fit with the other person's pages, okay? Even though you'll be in charge of different things. You're going to think about a good quality magazine layout. Nothing stands out or looks like it doesn't belong, and that's what you want yours to be like. So spend a little time as a group discussing your overall look, okay? We have lots of washi tape. You used that last year. We just restocked ours, so we have a lot. We have lots of colored scraps of paper to accent your text, and we want you to use color throughout your magazine. And if you're going to use different fonts, make sure that's purposeful, okay? So the timeline for this project: before you come into the library the first day, you'll watch the videos. This is one. Then you have one about your rubric, and then you have one that gives samples. And then on day 1, we're going to do an overview. You're going to have a chance to ask questions. We'll get out supply bags, and we'll teach you how to fold and cut the back base for your pop-up, and then you'll have work time in class. Your homework will be to do your research and to have your back base collage ready when you come to class on day 2. Day 2 will help you with gluing down your back base, and then you'll have time to work on research, or if you have your other pop-ups done and you want help gluing them, we can do that. For homework, you're going to glue down your pop-ups. Remember to use angles. This is a very important piece of information. Angles are where it's at, and we'll show you about that in class. And then get all your text typed and formatted. You don't have to have it printed. You will have time to print in class, but you shouldn't be doing any writing. You should just be doing printing. And then all your drawings should be done when you get to class. So day 3 is just the last day. You're putting it all together. You're doing final touches, and you're doing your covers. And your cover will take some time. So it's very important that you are ready to go when you come to class on the 3rd day. Okay. So assuming you have a 3-person group, person 1 will do the cover of the zine, the pop-up. They'll get a 5x8 piece of white paper to glue to the book cover. As a group, we want you to brainstorm a name for your book. It must include the word cell and the word pop-up, okay? But come up with a name together, and then the cover person is the person who designs that and puts that cover on there. You need to have a copyright-free photo, and we'll show you how to get those from Flickr or Pixabay or the other one that we just said, and I forgot to add it down there in that part, was from Pexels. Okay, so Pexels is the other one, and I'll add that in when I do the original, and I'll put it on the LibGuide. And then the photo should be in color or hand colored. So if you don't have a color printer at home, you will need to spend a little time adding some color with colored pencils or pens somehow or another. Your cover should be eye-catching and make people want to read your zine. Okay. Person 1 also does the title page, which again has the book's title. It has the author's name and a short bio, 3 sentences for each author. Those should be in 3rd person, and they should be personal interests and activities, not Erin Fitzpatrick Bjorn is doing pages 1 and 2 of the pop-up zine. No, it wants to be like Erin Fitzpatrick Bjorn is a librarian at Jesuit High School. She loves taking photos, knitting, and of course reading, whatever, something like that, personal stuff. Okay. Then the phrase copyright at 2019 Seder Press, and then shawl, period, whatever period you're in, and the date in small font at the bottom of the page. Again, everything is typed. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, and then that person does pages 1 and 2, which are the pop-up animal pages, animal cell pages, sorry. So there'll be 3 items that pop up. 1 will be a large animal cell, and then 2 smaller pop-ups, one of an actual animal would have the cell you drew, and one of the organelles, more specifically. All of these need to be hand-drawn and colored, no clip art. And then you're going to collage the back base of yours in red. Collage the back base in reds. Okay, so you maybe use red and pink and light red and dark red, whatever. You need to collage the back base in red. And then you're going to label all your pop-ups. Label all your pop-ups. So label 1 will be animal cell. Label 2 would be tiger, or whatever the name of the animal is, and label 3 would be organelle. Okay. Then you will have on page 1 an in-depth paragraph describing what animal cells do and explain how animal cells are different from plant cells and protists. You're going to type that out and glue it onto the page. And then page 2 should have a lift the flap section. We'll show you what that looks like with 3 fun fact questions and answers. So flap 1 would be the question and flap 2 would be the answer. We'll show you how to do that. And then page 3, label that page parts of the animal cell and draw 1 large animal cell and clearly label all the parts. Okay, so all the main parts of the cell should be labeled on that page, and that drawing and the labels should take up the majority of the page. Okay, person 2, you're doing the next pages for your pop-up. You're doing page 4 through 7. Okay, page 4 will be labeled parts of the plant cell. And then you're going to draw and label 1 large plant cell. Now don't forget these labels here, okay, because we have had a lot of kids lose points because they don't do their labels. So pay attention to whether your page needs a label or not. Okay, so page 4, the plant cell, 1 large plant cell. Page 5 and 6, these are the pop-up pages for the plant cells. Okay, 3 items that pop up, 1 large plant cell, 2 smaller plants, 2 smaller pop-ups, 1 of a plant, and then 1 of the organelles. Okay, again, all hand drawn, no clip art. You're going to collage your back base in greens. Ooh, let's see if I can change my pen to green. Look at this. Collage the back base in greens. I just got an Apple Pencil, can you tell? I'm sort of dorky, sorry. You're going to label all the pop-ups again under or near the pop-up. Okay. Page 5, in-depth paragraph describing what plant cells do. Explain how they're different from animal cells and protists. And page 6, lift the flap section. Again, we'll show you how to do that. Okay. Last, page 7, that's labeled chloroplasts. Don't forget your label. Okay. Draw a chloroplast. Write 5 to 7 sentences explaining photosynthesis. All right. That drawing and that paragraph should take up pretty much your whole page, so your drawing is going to be big. Okay. Whoops, that was a mistake. Okay. Person 3. Label page 8, mitochondria. Don't forget your label. Draw and label the mitochondria, then write 5 to 7 sentences explaining their function. This should be, again, taking up most of the page. Okay. Page 9 and 10, single-celled organisms. These are your pop-up pages. 3 items that pop up, 1 large protist and 2 smaller pop-ups, a diatom and an algae. I think I might have a typo here. This might be diatom. I'll have to check with Mr. Shaw on that. And 1 algae. Okay, so all these are hand drawn and colored, no clip art. And look at this, here we go with the blue. You should collage your back base in blues. Okay, label all your pop-ups. Page 9, an in-depth paragraph describing what the cells do, how a single-celled organism is different from an animal cell and a plant cell. Okay, and then page 10 should explain where you find each and why they are successful in their environments, and should have 1 image. Actually, I guess that's not needed because I take it back. That's not needed because that is on your pop-up page. My fault, sorry. Ignore that. Okay, page 11 is the works cited page. It is the last page of the zine. Works cited in MLA format, 6 sources minimum, 3 from the Clark Library Resources page, no wiki. Somebody lost points on theirs because they used a wiki. MLA format, hanging indent, 5 spaces. I don't know why, but I graded a whole bunch of zines recently and everyone had too many spaces in their hanging indent. Okay, if you don't know how to do it, ask me, but make sure it is only 5 spaces. Alphabetical order, the, a, an. Ignore those. Okay, so when you are looking for alphabetical order, if you see the word the, a, or an at the beginning of an entry, ignore that. Does not count. Okay, and then make sure you have a correct italicizing. 95% of the zines I did lost points on italicizing and indenting. Okay. Each person in your group needs to contribute 2 formatted sources, and then the third person just organizes and edits them. So person 2 has to give you resources for where they got their information, and person 1 has to give you information about where they got their resources, what their resources were, and then person 3 just puts it all together. Okay, so those are the requirements for the zine, and we'll go over this in class, but if you have questions, be sure you're asking. Thanks.